10 Jetpack Essentials for the Casual Blogger. And I put casual in the title just because I wanted to emphasize that this is going to be very basic kind of entry-level stuff where Jetpack is concerned. Jetpack is a plugin that's produced by Automatic, folks behind WordPresscom. And it is designed to bring you, the self-hosted user, the functionality of WordPress.com. Okay? So if you are on WordPress.com, you already have all of the stuff that's I'm going to talk about here today. Okay? So this talk really isn't 100% relevant to you, but the modules within Jetpack are already included within your WordPress.com. Okay? So it'll still give you a little bit of information. Okay? I'm Jen Hooks. I'm a happiness engineer with Automatic. I work for WordPress.com, and I'm on the Jetpack Happiness team. So I provide support to folks who are having issues or have questions or need customizations or anything Jetpack related. So the first thing I want to talk about just very briefly is the difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org. How many of you guys, just by show of hands, already know the answer to this? Okay, most of you do, so I'll keep it brief. Okay, like I already mentioned, if you are on WordPress.com, you don't need Jetpack, okay, because all of the things that I'm going to talk about today are included in your kind of out-of-the-box install. Okay. But if you have a host, if you are in any way involved with somebody like GoDaddy or Bluehost or anybody else, okay, then you're self-hosted, okay? You are on WordPress.org. And this is the WordPress.com logo, okay? So this, again, Jetpack is a plugin that you can use on WordPress.org to give you some really great functionality. So why Jetpack? I actually didn't even put it on here, but number one, it's free. Okay, I'm not trying to sell you guys something here. It's free. We are creating this plugin for you to use to beef up your WordPress.org site. Okay. A single plugin has a huge suite of features. Okay. Right now, within the Jetpack module, or within the Jetpack plugin, there are about 33 modules. Okay. So we call them modules, but they're essentially individual plugins that are kind of bundled into one package. Okay, so you have a bunch of different features that you can update by updating a single plugin. Okay, how many of you guys just let plugins or themes or anything in your WordPress.org dashboard just kind of go? You don't really bother updating them. Anybody leave those little update symbols there? Good, you guys are awesome, because that is not safe, okay? Usually when a plugin is updated or a theme is updated, it's done so because there was something that needed to be tweaked about the previous version, okay? So if you have 60 different plugins on your site, then you have to update all of those, right? As updates are rolled out. And with Jetpack, you update one, okay? So that's a benefit right there. You have the security and the reliability and the functionality of a WordPress.com product. Okay. Features within the Jetpack plugin, which I'll talk about a little bit later, in some cases will actually reduce the load on your server. Okay, so if you're paying for bandwidth, okay, if you're not on an unlimited plan, then Jetpack can help you in that regard. It's essentially saving you money. Okay, and then lastly, I'm kind of biased, but second to none support staff. Okay, myself and my fellow happiness engineers, we really, really, really love what we do, okay? We're not just grunts that are volunteering, occasionally cranky. We are paid to give support to something that we love, okay? So we have a vested interest in making sure that you're happy, okay? So those are some of the benefits of using Jetpack. So how many of you guys actually already have Jetpack? Are you coming in here completely fresh? Okay, I'm going to go over very briefly how to install Jetpack and get connected to WordPress.com, and then we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of talking about what it actually does for you. Okay, so you need two things to have Jetpack. You need a self-hosted site, and you need a WordPress.com account. Okay, in order for us to give you all the goodies through Jetpack, in a lot lot of cases we need to have you connected to the WordPress.com cloud so we can actually get them to you. So that's why you have to sign up for a WordPress.com account. Okay? Where to find it, some hosts actually already install it with WordPress and they're one-click installers. And then those that don't, it's just a simple matter of going to the plugins page within your dashboard and looking for it. Okay, going to add new and searching for Jetpack. So let's pretend that you already have it installed, but you haven't connected to WordPress.com yet. Your Jetpack is not working unless you're connected to WordPress.com. Okay, so if you go to the Jetpack menu in your dashboard and you click on the big, obvious Connect to get started button, then that's going to take you to where you can sign in with a WordPress.com account. Lots of people already have a WordPress.com account because either they started out on WordPress.com or for whatever reason, so they can use that login. Okay? If you don't have a WordPress.com account, there's actually a link from this page that will actually take you to create a new account. Okay, so everything that you need is right there for you. One thing I want to point out is that you don't need to sign up for a blog on WordPress.com. Okay, you can sign up for an account only. There will be an option that you can click that says, just give me an account. I don't need the blog, I don't need anything extra. Just give me an account so I can get into WordPress.com and get the goodies that way. Okay. And then lastly, once you are connected, you get a confirmation sign. Okay, it says you're fueled up and ready to go, and you're literally ready to go. You've got everything delivered from Jetpack. So your menu will change a little bit. Okay, you'll see Jetpack, and then you'll see settings and some other stuff. The only things we're going to worry about today, in a second, I'm briefly going to talk about settings. Okay, and then I'm going to talk about site stats a little bit later. Okay. Actually, I need to go back. So each individual module is going to be listed when you click on settings. And I didn't put the whole screenshot here because it wouldn't fit all of the different modules. So I just took a small snippet. Okay. When you mouse over the right-hand side of the settings menu, you can configure a lot of the different modules. You can tweak them and do different things with them. Okay. Including the ability to deactivate them. So if there is something included in Jetpack that you just absolutely don't need, it's either you have another plugin that you like better that's doing that functionality, or you think that it's just more than you need, deactivate it. Okay, that's the beauty of Jetpack. We give you all of this stuff, and you can do with it what you want. Okay, so this talk I'm going to go through essentially 3 different categories of the modules within Jetpack. Number 1, I'm going to talk about the stuff that makes your site extra pretty. Number 2, I'm going to talk about the stuff that helps you engage your readers more. And number 3, I'm going to talk about the stuff that gives you a little bit of extra functionality. Okay, so we're going to start with the pretty. The first module under the pretty category is called Photon. And how many of you guys are photo bloggers or have photo-heavy sites? Okay, this is particularly relevant to you guys. Okay, Photon is a content delivery network. Have you guys ever heard that term before, a CDN? Okay, it basically takes your images and caches them on our super fast WordPress.com servers. And then when a reader, a user of your blog goes to your blog, the image is being delivered or served from WordPress.com rather than your own server. So it potentially speeds up the loading times of your site. Okay. So it's doing all of the heavy lifting for you, basically, from WordPress.com rather than your GoDaddy server or your Bluehost server or whatever. Okay. So again, this is one of those things that could potentially save you some money, okay, if you're having to pay for bandwidth. Okay. So what it does, this is a picture of my beautiful daughter. You can look up there and see, it's actually really tiny. Can you guys see the URL there in the browser bar?
No, it was there. It was there.
It's taken the image and it's cached it on WordPress.com servers. Okay, so Your URLs of your images might look a little bit different, okay, once you have Photon installed. And actually, this is a good thing because you'll know Photon is working in this case. But the URL has appended to the beginning of it, i1.wp.com, okay? But I want to stress that this is not going to affect your SEO by changing the address of your image, okay? The metadata for where your image is coming from is still there, okay? And search engines still know where that image is coming from, okay? So that's not a problem. Okay, the other pretty stuff, actually Pam, if you were here in Pam's talk, you saw some of the tiled galleries in her blog, and it actually looks like a collage, like a blog collage that's been created like in Photoshop or whatever, but that's actually a tiled gallery within WordPress. Okay, this is native to WordPresscom, but Jetpack actually gives this option to a self-hosted site, and it basically makes a beautiful collage without having to use Photoshop. Okay, so this is great for photo bloggers. Carousel is a nice way to be able to scroll through the full-size images. Okay, it's a nice way to display them. Okay, and the background can be either black or white. We have some examples of how that looks in a second. Okay, so if you click on an image within one of the tiled galleries, it brings it up in the carousel window. Okay, so these are two examples of tile galleries from my blog. And I remember before tile galleries were introduced with WordPress, I had to go into Photoshop and I had to manipulate all of the pictures and put them into different templates and everything to make these beautiful sorts of mosaics. But WordPress does this for you. Okay, it just puts them in there based upon the dimensions and the sizes. Okay, so really, really pretty nice way of displaying images. So then when you click on a single image, you have Carousel Active, it'll bring it up in this full screen viewing experience. You can scroll from image to image, either left or right. It will bring up a comment field right there on that image. And it will also display any EXIF data, so any information that you have chosen to include about the image itself. Okay? And then you can exit out of the carousel viewing with just by hitting the X. Okay, so here's the black background, and then here's the white background. Okay, so depending on the types of images you're showing, you can choose different color backgrounds. Okay. So that's it for the pretty. We'll move on to the engagement. The engagement stuff, I'm going to start with related posts. How many of you guys know what related posts are? Yeah? This is an awesome, awesome plugin. There's other plugins that do it, but I personally think that Jetpack does it the best, okay? Because all of the data crunching and aggregation and all of the stuff that needs to be gathered in order for the plugin to suggest a post as a related post, all of that back behind the scenes stuff is done on WordPresscom servers, okay, which are super fast, okay, so it's not bogging down your server, okay. So what this is doing is taking your post and based upon its content, tags, categories, whatever, it's going to recommend other posts to your readers, okay. This is going to keep them on your site for longer because they're going to be engaged, they're going to be seeing other things that they might be interested in, and it might keep them coming back. Okay, so this is a really, really great way to engage users. One other thing I should mention is that they're insanely customizable. You can change the position of where they are on the post, you can change what content is put there, a lot of different things. And I actually should have pointed it out at the very beginning of my talk. At the bottom of each of these slides, I have a link that goes to the support documentation for each of these modules. Okay. So I will hand out my card for anybody that wants it. You can get in touch with me after today, and I'll send you a link to where I have the presentation uploaded. Okay. So next on the engagement list, sharing. This is going to allow your readers to share a post to a variety of different social media outlets. Okay, so relatively straightforward there. Just gives you a nice, tidy little box at the bottom of the posts. Comments. This is another nice engagement feature. The nice thing about this is that it will allow your reader to comment by logging in with a variety of different profiles. Okay, so they don't have to create a new username and password to comment on your site. They can just log in with their Facebook profile if they want to. Okay, so super easy and straightforward. The goal to getting readers engaged with your site is to make it as easy as possible, right? You want to take away as many steps as you possibly can. Okay. Publicize is the next on the engagement list. If you have Publicize connected, what you have done is you have connected your Facebook account or your Twitter account or Google Plus or LinkedIn, and when you push publish on your new posts in your WordPress dashboard, it automatically pushes that post, a link to that post, as well as a thumbnail, to all of your connected social media sites. Okay, so it's taking the legwork out for you to have to copy and paste that link into your different social media. So it's a way to blast, essentially blasting your new content out there to social media. So the way it works, you'll have a box that looks like this, okay, in your sharing settings in your dashboard, and you will connect whatever social media sites you want, okay? And then on your post editor screen, you'll have a box. Everybody should recognize this box here. And then you can actually customize the message that you want to be publicized, okay, with the message. And then it will bring up the nice, beautiful image, whatever you have set as your featured image, okay, as the main thumbnail, with a blurb, okay, that will draw people in to your site. Okay.
You can customize the excerpt in that?
Yes. So moving on to the functionality widgets, these aren't really as glamorous, but you don't really know that you were missing them until you know that they're available. Okay. So the first one are extra sidebar widgets. Okay. When you have that module activated with Jetpack, it automatically just drops a bunch of extra widget options on your widgets page. Okay, we all know what widgets are, right? Okay. So things like an image widget, just the ability to plunk in an image to your sidebar or your footer or wherever your widget areas are without having to do anything special. Okay. The gallery one is one of my personal favorites. As far as I know, there isn't another widget out there that does it as well as ours does. Okay, you can actually put a tiny, and I should have put some screenshots in here now in retrospect, but it gives you like a little gallery within your widget. Okay, so if you are a photo blogger or if you're a recipe blogger or whatever, you want to have as much image content on your page as possible. Okay, so there's a variety of those, and you can look up extra information on those. Widget visibility is a very unglamorous little module, but it's one that people are absolutely crazy about, okay? So how many of you guys have your site set up as just a blog? It's just a feed of posts, okay? How many of you have it set up as with a static home page and a separate blog page? Okay, so maybe you don't want a certain widget to show up on your static page. Okay, maybe you just want it to be your splash page, maybe you've got a beautiful image there, or some contact information. You don't want all of your recent posts widget to show up there, or your meta widget, or whatever. So you can actually have the ability to manipulate which widgets are showing up on which pages under which conditions. Okay, so really super powerful, not very glamorous, but very powerful in terms of what you can do as far as customizing your site goes. WordPresscom stats, I mentioned that at the very beginning. You have a link to your stats right there, right under where your Jetpack link is. Okay, and this is not going to be for people who are looking for like hardcore Google Analytics style data, but the nice thing about WordPresscom stats is that it plays nice with other stats plugins. So what this is going to do is give a nice overall snapshot, easy to digest, way of seeing how your site is doing. So it gives you overall numbers. Obviously, these are the numbers for my photo blog for 8 million visits, not really. It also shows you where your hits are coming from. Okay, it has areas on the stats page that shows you where your referrers are coming from. My personal favorite is there's an area that shows you which search engine terms brought people to your site. Okay, and that's always good for a laugh, because sometimes it's the craziest things that you wouldn't expect that are bringing people to your site. Yes?
Is this Google Analytics data, or is this WordPress?
This is WordPress.com. Yeah, we call it WordPress.com stats because it's the same as the WordPress.com stats. Okay, clicks, what's being clicked on in your site. Okay, this is also important for people who are trying to monetize. Okay, a lot of advertisers want to know, what people are looking at on sites before they will advertise. Okay, so it's really user-friendly. Okay, there's not a whole lot of technicality to it, but it's very, very powerful, good stuff. And again, it plays nice with other plugins. Lastly, this is not a module, but this is a feature, definitely, the Jetpack Happiness team. Like I already mentioned, we love this plugin, we love WordPress, we love WordPress.com, and we really love helping people. Okay, so if you want to be able to rely upon a support network in order to use something, then Jetpack is a really good solution for you. Okay. So how to get support? There's a contact form, okay, on jetpack.me. And when you fill this out, it sends an email, okay? It's not going to avoid. I always get a little kind of icky feeling whenever I have to fill out a form on a website to get support, because I know that chances are it's going to go into a black hole, okay? But the reason that we ask you to fill out your support request using this form is that it will also give us some information about your Jetpack connection when you send in the support request. So we can kind of get a jump start on looking at what might be happening with your site. Okay. And we respond quickly. Okay. I really zoomed through that. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Why doesn't it work without any type of quote hack locally when you're doing dev work?
Well, there's a development mode.
Yeah, so could you share that? How?
How development mode works? Well, anything that requires a connection to WordPress.com, like the stats, or like Photon, anything that's delivering anything from the WordPress.com cloud is not going to work when you're working locally. But a lot of different things can. There's a, and I don't remember exactly, there's a line of code that you add.
Function speed.
Yeah. That allows you to work locally.
Okay.
Just to kind of test out how the features are going to look.
At first I forgot, 'cause I remember that, but I'm running 4.2b2 as a text, just, trying to, I wish I had to go back and add that in.
Yeah.
I thought it was 4.2, it's not that code, I just forget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and then you have to manually go back in and strip it out.
Okay.
Actually, didn't somebody just write a plugin to like do it automatically?
I don't know.
Within the last, in the last month or two. But I mean, it's not necessary. You just copy and paste the code in and take it out when you're done, and then connect for real.
I'll share that in a second.
What else? Yes.
Is there an easy way to remove a site that you forgot to disconnect from Jetpack that you don't have access to anymore?
You contact us, and we do it for you. Yeah,
So,
we're really happy to do it. Yeah.
why is it set up that way?
I have no idea, but it's a good question.
I see non-stop requests for it, people looking
Yep.
for it, and I always say, send us a message.
Yep. Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, I don't really understand why. I think it's something that should be addressed.
It's fine
I
if you
think
don't
it's on the
forget it.
list too.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, but I mean, it's not really a big deal. It's not the only potential harm that comes to you if you leave a site connected inadvertently is monitor warnings. Jetpack Monitor is one of the modules, and it basically listens to your site and will send you an email if the site is down. And if you have disconnect, or if you let your site go without disconnecting Jetpack, it's going to be listening to your site thinking that it's down when it's not really down, it's just not there anymore, or it's down by your choice, and then it fires off an email to you every 5 minutes or whatever, which gets really, really annoying.
That's not the only problem. It's like having a glass that you can never clear off your table.
Yeah, yeah. You and I have very similar personalities, I can tell. Yeah. Yeah, but we're very happy to do it for you, and it's a quick win for us. I mean, it's super easy support request to fulfill. Yes.
So of the 33 or so modules, are there any other favorites?
Oh my
Anything else
gosh.
notable?
No, actually, I think I addressed them all. Photon, I'm a big Photon fangirl. I think there's nothing else that does what it does for free. It's just the best out there. And I'm a photographer, so I love my images. And the Tiled Galleries, I can't say enough how much time the Tiled Mosaic Galleries save me personally. So I just like the pretty stuff again. That's my short answer. Yes. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
When working with clients that you're trying to encourage to use Jetpack, would you encourage them getting their own account?
Yes.
Or using a level account?
I would recommend it that they have their own. Okay. But the beautiful thing about Jetpack is that anybody who's an administrator on the site can basically have full access to all the settings. Right. So you, as the developer, can keep your WordPresscom account connected, and your user can as well. Okay. So that way, I mean, they just connect it on their own.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just ran into an issue. I don't know. It was the first time I had done it with a client where I asked them to sign up because I didn't want to have it in my list. We're working with Publicize. If I went in as my administration,
yes,
it would be my Facebook.
Yes. Yes. That is a problem with Publicize. Okay. I think it's in the works to change that. The problem is that with Twitter, I'm not sure about Facebook specifically, but with Twitter, the first account that you connect is the only one that will publicize. Yeah. So, but Facebook should allow you to connect multiple profiles, as long as there are multiple WordPresscom accounts. So if you're connected and your user has connected Publicize, then there should be two different options.
There are. It's just a matter of walking him through how to do his.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just personal preference.
Okay.
I get a lot of developers that write in with a support request for Jetpack, and I look at their profile, and they have a list of sites that I have to scroll down through to find a particular site, just because they like to keep them connected, just to have a little bit of extra control over what's going on.
I like to be able to walk away from my client as much as they can walk away from me.
Teach them to fish, right? Teach them to fish for themselves. Yes?
Does related posts work with custom post types?
Yes, it does. That's on the customization. It's crazy how customizable it is. Yeah. Pam, what was your question?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm looking at the list of modules now. Like, I mean, I'm on WordPress.com now, but I obviously used to use .org. I'm surprised at how many features I always assumed were just built in.
Right?
Like infinite scroll or custom CSS.
Or even the extra widgets, right?
Shortcut embeds. Like that's.
Yeah. Yes.
So I have a client that I'm working with, and they sell parts and machines, and their parts, which are $4,000 or less, they sell on eBay, and they're happy with that, and that's fine. Their machines can be anywhere from $30,000 to $750,000. So if they don't put those on eBay,
right?
But we're looking for a way.
What kind of parts? Sorry, car parts?
No, these are big machine manufacturing parts. So they are looking for a way, what I would call a catalog. So you can't buy it online, but you can look at all the pictures they have. They've got specs that can be a mile long. Somebody had suggested actually looking at the Jetpack, for one of the galleries or the carousel or something. For me, it's got to be something that my client can go in and not screw it up.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Would that work, you think, in that situation? I'm concerned about the comments and how much
You can turn on.
he can put.
Comments can be turned off.
Oh, I meant like the description.
The
I guess he
description?
can put the specs in there.
I'm trying to think if the EXIF, is the little box in the bottom, the data from the camera, I don't know if that auto-populates or if you can manipulate.
So I've seen like artists or people that have their camera.
Yeah.
their search feed, but-
Yeah.
You put the specs in the captions.
Right, you could put the specifications in a caption and it would show up with the image.
Or in the description, or that's.
Yeah, but it's not, I mean, it's not super hard. It's very user level
Okay.
to.
And that, I mean, WordPress
create
in
gallery.
general is,
Right, that's why we built their site on there, and that's wonderful. And so that's up and running. But now I've got this catalog. We looked at WooCommerce, but we don't need all those extra features with the sales tax and all that because he's not
Right.
selling them
Yeah, you just wanna
online.
show a picture
I
and
just
give
need
some
pictures and
description.
specs. Oh. All right,
Yeah.
I'll look into that. Thank you.
if you're gonna be uploading a lot of images, Jetpack would be beneficial too, for Photon.
Yeah, I mean, each machine could have 4 images or it could have 28.
Yeah.
I mean, just depending on how detailed it is.
Yeah.
No,
Else?
that's easy.
How did you come up with Happymatic?
Pardon?
Like Happymatic?
Happymatic? I'm a happiness engineer and I work for Automatic.
Yeah. Did you come up with that?
I did,
Yeah.
actually. I originally had another username to start. I'm a late adopter for Twitter. I'm kind of a late adopter in general, which is kind of funny that I work for a tech company. But it was not relevant anymore, so I wanted to change it. And when I went to change it to Happymatic, I was honestly astounded that no other automatician had taken it yet.
Yeah.
So, I never get anything. I have cards that I can hand out. Actually, I'll just put them up with the other Jetpack Swag. Please take Jetpack Swag. I have a bunch of it here. I've got stickers, I've got little notebooks. If you have children, these notebooks are really, really great. My kids love them. And then the backpacks. Whatever you guys take is one less thing that I have to carry home. So, take one, take two. 7. Yeah, so my contact information is on the card if you want to email me to get the link to the presentation. But if you just go to jetpack.me, that's going to give you everything that you need. All the information that you need. You can browse through the different modules and see what they do. And honestly, guys, it's free. So just install it, play around with it, and if you hate it, just uninstall it.
Strong word.
Well, if you really dislike it, I promise you won't though. Because even if there's 2 things out of the list of 33 things that you want, just deactivate everything and leave the ones active that you like.
So the deactivated ones don't affect the load times or anything like that? It's only deactivated?
Yep. And honestly, any plugin or any extra stuff you're putting on your site is going to have an impact on your load time.
Yeah.
I mean, you're affecting your performance anyway. So. One more question. Continue with the applause, we can just do it again.
Have you heard any good or bad things about the brute force that they just offered?
All good things. All good things, but I have to be honest, I was worried that somebody was going to ask me about that. My week, this past week has been insane, and I haven't been following like what they've done. So I wouldn't be able to speak about it intelligently, but I mean, it can only be a good thing.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to
And the
hear
guys,
if
they're amazing. The Root Protect guys are amazing.
Sorry, what was the question?
Jetpack Protect. If I'd heard anything, we're actually adding security to Jetpack as well. It may actually have already been added.
it does really.
Is the video off?
No, not yet.
Yeah, all good things.
Automatic required.
I got a question. What was number 6?
Let's see.
They acquired who?
Protect.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Comments, is number 6?
months ago, yeah, and I heard speaking about it.
Yeah, comments. That's what allows your readers to log in with
Yeah.
the
That's
different
what
accounts.
I'm still trying to find out. I was surprised. I wanted
security group had,
See how easy it was?
Yeah.
He literally installed and activated Jetpack between
Yeah.
items 5 and 7.
It
Bam.
says some kind of weird loop though on it.
You'll love
I had
it.
some stuff on the VPS.
I've used it for WordPresscom a long time.
Bring up all
And
my
it seems
load
to
values when it's
agree.
in. You know,
It's been many months.
Yeah.
I think
Let them know.
Yeah.
2 months or so, I think a lot of changes happened.
We are really focusing on it,
Yeah.
and we're trying to make it the best out there.
Yeah.
And I hope it shows. I think it does. But again, I'm biased. I can't speak objectively
That's
all
all
about
Brian.
Jetpack.
I got one last question.
Yeah.
The intense debate, is that part of comments now? Is that rolled into it?
No, it's
Just
not.
gone?
No, well, it's not gone. My team actually kind of supports it.
There's been no
supports it.
releases in like 3 years. So
It might get revisited. I don't know. I don't really know the status of it.
Is this comments a better option for comments than
Oh, yeah.
intense debate?
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah. Sensitive, sure.
Yeah. Is the video running?
Would you like me to turn it off?
Do you know if there is somewhere a way to search for plugins and actually do some useful filtering when you're searching? Like if I want to search for a plugin for, say, comments, but I want to search for ones that have been popular and ones that are checked off to be compatible with the version that I'm using.
I don't know.
Because it just seems to just show you random
Yeah.
displays of orders. You can choose popular plugins, but then you can't search for
Right.
anything.
Well, they changed it on, currently now it's active installs versus
Yeah,
just
active
popular-
installs, yeah.
versus just downloads, because that's a huge difference.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of websites out there, where there's plugins A to Z, which is a resource. There's a podcast with it as well. They do reviews on sites on all the plugins. I mean, there's only 36,000 plugins to go through.
Yeah.
So it takes some time.
You know, I'm sure a plugin could be written
Oh, yeah.
to filter plugins.
And how would you ever find them?
Sometimes
It's
it's
so meta.
like
Yeah.
comments.
Exactly. How would you know it's
A lot of
here?
users and
Maybe it isn't right.
There was another site, I'm trying to think of the name, but there was a site that actually had a way to drill down. I think they stopped working on it. I think that guy got a job.
Yeah.
Good job.
maintenance.
Happens to the best of them, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming.